And from gate 2 should be able to be right on speed again and hard to beat.
Semengu's lifting, Semengu over the top, Semengu, that's a smart win, Photo second.
Settles right in behind the leaders on speed, and I think he'll be really hard to beat.
Iona Merck's in for the fight, so's Walado. Iona Merck, Walado. Iona Merck was gritty and just won it.
This horse has only had 5 starts on the way up, could go to a new level this prep, and I'm happy to be on it.
Truly Elsa's clinging on to victory and won. Truly Elsa just from Innocent Sips and Xanthron third.
Hello everyone and welcome to this week's preview. What a Saturday of racing we've got coming up this week. 5 Group 1s in Sydney, an 11 race card at the Valley, including the Group 1 William Reid Stakes. It's going to be absolutely outstanding. Slight profit last week, which is alright, we take those. Let's go on with this week, 10 bets, and let's get stuck into it. Let's start at the Valley in race number 7. I've got horse number 1, Two Darn Lizzie. 3 units to win on at $2.90 currently. This was its last start run at Flemington in the Cuny behind Treasure the Moment. Take out Treasure the Moment because this filly's just way too good for the lot of these. And Two Darn Lizzie wins this Cuny Stakes if you take out Treasure the Moment. Sneaky Sunrise is also in the race. It was a close third behind Two Darn Lizzie. And it gets a 3 kilo weight swing on Two Darn Lizzie, which probably favours does favour Sneaky Sunrise a bit more. But what I like about Two Darn Lizzie is Moonee Valley. Even though it's never been there before, we know how good leaders and on-speed horses are at the Valley. They've got a high strike rate. Gate 9, Craig Williams on, brilliant front-running rider. Can just come across at his own pace, lead and hopefully win. Now we're already up to the Group 1 at the Valley. It's race 9, the William Reid Stakes. I don't have much of an opinion in this race. If I had to back one, and I know most of my viewers are going to laugh at this, Schwartz. Look, I know I said after his CF4 run that he's simply no good, but I just think 2 starts ago, right, he won at the Track and Trip in the Australia Stakes. It's a Group 2, big step up in class to a Group 1 William Reid. However, beat Stapati by 2 lengths on that occasion. Stapati then came out and ran third behind another Will and Mr. Brightside in that CF4 where Schwartz had a decent starting price. Schwartz didn't appreciate 1400 metres or the bigger track. Has been up to Ramwick since then, had 2 trial wins. I just think around the Valley at this distance can go straight to the front, and a good, better horse like Jimmy Star might find a little bit of traffic from that gate, and better chances like She's Bulletproof and Stretton Angel got a tricky draws. So I just thought Schwartz would be my on-top selection in the race, but definitely not having units on. Race 10 of the Valley, this horse would probably be my best bet of the day if it didn't draw gate 16, Clean Energy. This was her last start run down the Flemington Straight. This was in a 3-year-old filly's handicap over 1100 metres. She was first up, conceding race fitness to the winner, Scalato, and she peaked on her run really late in the piece, but was really testing her all the way to the finish. And since this run gets a 3.5 kilo weight swing on Scalato, the main query is gate 16 and where it's going to get to if the Valley plays a bit leaderish and fence. Probably Clean Energy will get out to a bit bigger of a price, and I think we can wait on that price. But if they can win from anywhere with the rail true, I think Clean Energy is the best horse in the race. Has got, it's a full sister to Sunlight, so it's got the ability pedigree wise, and I reckon race wise it's beaten Letty Shenandoah in 2 of its starts, and in its first 2 starts. I reckon it's got potential, and hopefully it can put its best foot forward on Saturday. Finishing off in the last of the Valley with my best bet at the Valley, race 11, number 10, My Temptation. 3 units to win on at $3. We're going to take a look at his first up win at Flemington down the straight, benchmark 84, 1100 metres. This was a very good win, first up, conceding race fitness to some probably better credentialed horses. 4 from 4 in its career. It just keeps on winning, doesn't it? Gets in with the lightweight of 54 kilos. Gate 6 gets a nice run on speed for Willow. I've got Willow in all races at the Valley on Saturday, or at least in the 3 that I've got units on. Now, this is probably a similar story to Semengu and Miss Aria last week, where Marble 9 gets a 4.5 kilo weight swing on My Temptation, which theoretically means Marble 9 should be finishing ahead of My Temptation. However, I still think My Temptation will finish in front of Marble 9 because My Temptation was first up last start, and it's just got ability. 4 from 4 compared to Marble 9, who's had 12 starts. My Temptation has more room to grow, just like Semango did last week. I'm happy to have My Temptation as my best bet at the Valley on Saturday. The first Group 1 at Sydney on Saturday is the Randwick Stakes over the 2,000 metres. Hot favourite Via Sistina. She should be tough to beat. Personally, I think she's too short. I thought the Haggis horse, usually when Haggis brings one over here, it does well, but Al Mubir, just looking at its past form, it looks like it's a genuine Group 3 listed horse, so I'd struggle to see it beaten Via Sistina. There's a horse coming over from America, Full Count Felicia. I've absolutely no idea how that's going to go, but for an upset's sake, hopefully it can get the job done. I think Lindemann off the week back up was only a half a length off Via Sistina 2 starts ago in the Very Elegant. I think Lindemann off the week back up, already having that run at 2,000 metres last week, can give Via Sistina a real test, as well as a horse like Faulkner Park, who was only a length and a half, probably gaining ground on Via Sistina last start, and up to 2,000 metres suits where it's 2 from 2 at the track and trip. Via Sistina, best horse in the race, but I just saw it at $1.40. There were better bets in the race. The next Group 1 in Sydney is the Rosehill Guineas over 2,000 metres. We've got a short favourite in Broadsiding at $2. $4.80 about for Swift Falcon, $5.50 for Gold Rush Guru. I reckon Broadsiding's too short, and he's just been priced on ability, if anything. There were horses better through the line last start in the Randwick Guineas, such as Swift Falcon and Aliana. I think Gold Rush Guru probably is the one to beat, though, coming from, I believe, a good form reference in the Australian Guineas behind Feroce and Savaglee. Up to 2,000 metres ideally suits this horse. Is a Victorian Derby winner. Gold Rush Guru would be my bet and on-top selection in the race. If you're looking for one at 50s, number 7, Our Benefactor. Through the line was very good last start in the Randwick Guineas. Gate 5, blinkers off. Zach Lloyd goes on. Up to 2,000 metres, I reckon, is over the odds for Our Benefactor. The next Group 1 in Sydney is the Group 1 George Ryder Stakes over the 1,500 metres. Fangirl's the favourite, and I probably couldn't go past her as an on-top selection. She's been very good, beating Via Sistina 2 starts ago and just being beaten by Via Sistina last start. Via Sistina's not in this race. James McDonald goes back on Fangirl. I reckon he gets the best out of her. From gate 9, this horse can be out of trouble, away from the fence, and I just think it's the best horse in the race, and probably should be winning on paper. I've already done a separate video on the Golden Slipper, so go and watch that if you haven't already, but I've actually got units on a horse in the last Group 1 at Sydney, the Galaxy, and it's horse number 14, Commemorative. 1 unit the win on at $6.50. This was her last start win at Randwick in a Group 3 fillies and mares race over 1,200 metres. Settled probably midfield off the fence and really showed a good turn of acceleration late to win. I just like this horse. It's the third favourite. The first 2 horses in the market, Private Harry and Briasa, they're conceding race fitness to Commemorative. Although they could be better horses and we don't know their ceiling yet, I just think Commemorative with that race fitness is going to be well suited. Minor query gate 2, it'll probably need some luck. However, I'm hoping it can use that gate with the light weight of 51 kilos for Zach Lloyd to hold a position, hopefully in the first half of the field. And it's a big horse that needs room, but if it gets room in the straight late, I reckon this horse with the lightweight is good enough to win a Group 1 like the Galaxy. This horse is probably my best bet at Rosehill. It's in the last. Number 7, Outback Miss, 3 units the win on at $2.90. Taking a look at the same replay as Commemorative here, where Outback Miss finished second. Probably should have finished closer, had a bit of a checkered path in the straight. Draws gate 3 again on Saturday, so we'll need some luck, but I'm hoping Tyler Schiller can use the horse a bit more to be in a more forward position. Outback misses 4 from 7 in its career. Found a smart horse last start in Commemorative, otherwise it wins this race if Commemorative's not in the race, and I just think this is a horse on the rise and it can get the job done in the last. Moving across to Morphettville in race number 1, I like horse number 7 Next to Nix, 2.5 units to win on at $3.10. This was our last start win at Murray Bridge and a benchmark 56 over 900 metres. This horse looks like an absolute speedster to me. Goes back to fillies and mares grade this week, but it's up to a benchmark 68. I don't see that to be too much of a query because it's going back from open company to fillies and mares. It's had a trial since this Murray Bridge performance where it won by 8.5 lengths. Just screams of a real 1,000-metre speedster. I reckon this horse will fly out of the gates, probably get strained back a bit, lead by a length. I reckon Kayla Crowther's going to give it a little tap up around the 300 metres. It's going to sprint 3 lengths clear by the 200 metre mark, and I reckon it's going to fall in and win by 3/4 of a length. That's how I'm picturing it, but a win's a win. Speedster, straight to the front. Hopefully it can do the rest. In the very next race at Morphettville, race 2, I like horse number 10, Kisses Forever. 1.5 units to win on at $4.60. It's a debutant, and this was its most recent trial. This was at Murray Bridge, won by 1/2 a length on this occasion. I really like the early speed it showed to lead this jump out, or trial. So from gate 2, I'm hoping Jake Turro can either lead with this horse or settle leaders back. By I Am Immortal, who was an absolute 2-year-old speedster. Just Jake Turok in this trial gave it a tap up once or twice at about the 100 metre mark. It responded and won the trial by 1/2 a length, doing it easy on the line. I just think from gate 2, this horse looks to show good ability for Richard and Chantal Jolly, and I'm happy to have something on it on Saturday. In the last at Morphettville, race 9, I'm with horse 9, the Bantam. 1.5 units to win on at $5. This was his first up win at Echuca in a maiden. Big win. Didn't look like at any point of the straight it would win until the last bound. This horse looks to have shown real good improvement from last preparation. Won a trial or jump out at Bendigo before its first up win at Echuca. Looks to have come back really well. From gate 11, a horse with its racing style like the Bantams in a back marker. We'll appreciate gate 11 will be off the inside on the better ground come this stage of the day at Morphettville. And if it can show the same turn of foot on Saturday as what it showed last start, it should be going very close here. That was over 1,200 metres at Echuca. 1,400 metres on Saturday looks an ideal step up in distance. I'm hoping the Bantam can get it done in the last. It's that time of the week. It's last man standing. Sky High Horse Racing has done a Stephen Bradbury. Although we've got halfway to go, he's shot straight to the front with his win last week. About $250 clear of Vinny, then Sharon, me, and Nikki. So this is what we're doing this week. Sky Horse Racing is having 100 the win on the instructor in the last at the Valley. If that gets up, the competition, I reckon, is home and hosed for Sky High Horse Racing. Vinny's going to have 40 the win on Jimmy Star, 20 the win on Prestige Forever, 20 the win on Top Caliber, and 20 the win on 2 Darn Lizzie. If you want to see what Sharon's got, you might as well pause the video, because just like last week, I can't be bothered reading them all out. I've gone with a bit of a spoiler alert here. 70 the win on Ouroboros at Eagle Farm, and then I've got 30 the win as well on My Temptation at the Valley. Nikki's going to have a $60 all-up win. Autumn Glow into Via Sistina. 25 the win on 2 Darn Lizzie. There's a few of us that like 2 Darn Lizzie this week. And also 15 the win on Briassa in the Galaxy. That's what we're doing for Last Man Standing this week. Eagle Farm race 3, number 10, Mist of Dawn at a bit of a price. 0.75 units to win on at $9. This was her last start run at Eagle Farm over 1,200 metres, where she didn't really get clear until about the 300 metre mark, and through the line she was very, very strong in her work. A bit of a step up in class here, because I'm pretty sure this was a weekday at Eagle Farm, and now it's going to a Saturday race at Eagle Farm. Damien Thornton jumps on. Gate 7 can be midfield off the inside. The step up to 1,400 metres looks absolutely ideal, judging off this last start run. And I'm confident, or I'm hoping at least, that Mist of Dawn can give race number 3 at Eagle Farm a real shake-up. And we're finishing off with probably my best bet anywhere on Saturday. It is Eagle Farm race 8, number 8, Ouroboros. 4.25 units to win on it at currently $2.35. You're probably wondering why I've gone so exact with 4.25 units, and that's just to round my overall spend for the Saturday to a whole number. So this was Ouroboros' last start run at Eagle Farm in a Class 2 over 1,000 metres. SP'd $1.30 on this occasion, was really well fancied to win the race and got the job done. Now steps up to a benchmark 78 over 1,200 metres, a bit of a tougher class, and only won this race by a length and a half. And considering it's $1.30, probably expected to win by more. However, judging off this horse's runs previously in its career, I think it needs a little bit of pressure. It's been a winner over 1,200 metres in the past, beating Wolfie at Caulfield. It was only a year and a half ago that it split Cylinder and I Am Unstoppable in the Vane Stakes. Only had 8 starts, only missed the top 3 once. I think Ouroboros from gate 8 can go straight to the lead and hopefully won't be run down. Now we'll move on to Let It Ride. Samangu did the job for us last week, so we've progressed to a total pool of $2,317.50, and this week that's all going to be chucked on Eagle Farm Race 8, number 8, Ouroboros to place. I think if this horse finds 1 or 2 better than it on Saturday, there's a good chance that will happen, so I think going the place is good, especially for a leader that might find 1 better than it late if it goes a little bit too quick in front. Ouroboros, the place is the Let It Ride bet for this week. Thanks everyone for watching this week's preview. It's going to be a 23 unit spend for me this Saturday. I'm really looking forward to the day overall. 5 Group 1s in Sydney, 1 Group 1 at the Valley on an 11 race card. I won't be able to see any of it live because I'll be at the Essendon versus Adelaide AFL game, but I'm looking forward to getting home on Saturday night and watching it all in one hit, which I'm hoping will be a happy outcome in terms of my unit spends. Thanks everyone again for watching. Hope you back a winner on Saturday, and until next week's preview, bye for now.